Hi, and welcome to this new episode. I have a very special guest for you today called Henry Olsen, and we connected because he's a guitarist and I'm a singer, and obviously, guitar plus singing is a match made in heaven. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't play guitar. I remember that I tried picking up the guitar a few years ago, and then I just quit after a few months because I just couldn't play the bar chords. And Henry here in our conversation today has convinced me to try again, and I'm really sure that with his help I can turn that around. So in our conversation today we talked about so many amazing things, and Henry has been so generous in his shares. I really appreciate him. You're going to learn about his sandwich practice system, which I just love. We also talked about, do you actually need to have talent in order, to play guitar and to sing? What about like consistency through practice? Can anyone learn to play the guitar? What about singing and playing guitar at the same time? All of those things. Also, if you listen till the end, you're going to see that he's actually giving away a free course for our listeners. So definitely check the link in the description here of this episode, because you'll get the link there. He's been so generous to share that with us. It's a free beginner's guitar course, so I'm definitely going to go through that and see if I can improve my guitar skills. So without any further ado, here is my conversation with Henry. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Hello, hello. We are here with Henry. Henry, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Maggie, for having me. It's really a true pleasure to talk to you and hang out with you today.
I am so excited for this conversation because we connected through a group of entrepreneurs, and you are a guitarist. I'm a singer, so that is a match made in heaven. So before we dive into it, tell me about who you are, what you do, so that our people can get to know you.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. So my name's Henry Olsen. I run a site called supersimpleguitar.com, and I've been teaching guitar professionally since 2012. And 2015 is when I took my one-on-one, online. So I did 3 years one-on-one, and then I decided to take that online and try to help the entire world learn how to play the guitar. And I've been doing it ever since. So it's my full-time gig. I have, again, that school called Super Simple Guitar. And it's my love, it's my passion, it's what I do. And when I saw you through that community, I resonated with you so much right away because you just had this great vibe. You were singing, you were doing the same thing. And then that's why I reached out to you and we started talking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really, really glad to be chatting with you today.
Yeah, me too. And I totally resonate with what you say. The energy that we both felt from the start, I think we can help each other so much, because obviously people that play guitar sometimes want to learn to sing. And then I have many people in my community that sing and want to become better at guitar. So
Right.
that's where I think our collaboration can really help people even further in their journeys. So let's dive into this idea. So I'm just thinking of my community members right now. They're singers. They want to learn how to not necessarily play guitar like a pro, but many of them start out with, I want to be able to accompany myself. So imagine you're talking to that person, someone that sings and wants to play or learn to play a few chords so that they're able to actually sing a song and play the guitar at the same
Yeah.
time. Where did they start? Like, how is someone going about this whole new adventure?
Well, I actually have a free beginner course that I'll give you later after this chat that teaches those first steps. So what people don't realize is that with just a few chords, you can already start to really accompany yourself quite easily. It really isn't that difficult. There's this video on YouTube if people want to find it, it's like the 4-chord song or something
Yes,
like that, right?
Axis of Awesome. I think they're
Axis
called.
of Awesome.
Yes.
We have to link that up so people can see it. So basically with 4 simple chords, only 4 chords, you can literally unlock thousands of songs, right? And easy songs for a guitar, easy songs for singers. So it's perfect. And honestly, people can accomplish this within just a couple of weeks if they want to do it, right? It really is just a matter of getting a guitar, joining the free course, and you're off to the races, you know? And it's just a beautiful thing, especially for people who sing. You know, I wish I could sing. It's one of these things that we might talk about later. It's such a beautiful thing to be able to sing and then accompany yourself, right? Because you turn into this one-man show, and like at a campfire, at weddings, at events like that, it's just this magical thing when you can take out a guitar and sing at the same time. You know, it truly touches people. And yeah, so anybody in your community that sings and doesn't play guitar, I just want them to know it is so, within your reach that it's just mind-blowing, right? And it just will take your singing to the next level in a matter of weeks, honestly. You can really do it very quickly. So that's what I'd say, yeah.
Can I play the devil's advocate for just a second? Because I have a question about that.
Sure, yeah.
So I tried the guitar and I gave up. I'm going to be honest, because I gave up at the
Interesting.
F chord because you had to
Yeah,
hold different.
yeah, the bar chords.
Yes. Oh my God, that was so
Yeah,
hard. So I gave up and I switched to ukulele because that seemed easier to me. And I can play those four
interesting.
chords on the ukulele. What would you say to someone going through that phase? Like, what can I do to overcome this blockage, I'd say, of those more difficult chords? I'd say, like, what's the trick there?
That's a great question, and every single person that ever picked up the guitar goes through this, right? And honestly, I saw a study that 90% of people end up quitting the guitar within the first year, which makes me very sad. It's my mission to take that statistic down, honestly. It's my mission in life. So what I would tell you, and we can talk about this,
Yes.
and everybody who's thinking about learning the guitar, is that first learn a bunch of these songs that don't need those bar chords. There's so many songs that you can learn that do not need that chord, all right?
Okay.
So I'd say for the first couple of months, start actually enjoying playing music with these simple chords, right? You have to walk before you can run. This is something I'm always telling people. Walk before you can run. Trust the process, take it slowly, and just know you can absolutely do this. So I get people to actually play songs first. I want you to have a feeling of accomplishment. I want you to feel like you're having fun. And I want you to have a smile on your face when you look at the guitar and think about picking it up, right?
Yeah.
Now, that being said, after a couple of months, I will definitely help you learn how to play bar chords. I have a whole system about playing bar chords and making it easy to play. So I'd actually like to test this with you. Maybe we can do like a month-long test.
Well, I have a guitar at home, so we could.
Yeah, because you can nail it. You can nail it. So that's the first thing. I get people started off, with things that are within their reach. And this is a big problem that I see people encountering all the time. They bite off more than they can chew because they don't know where to start. They're learning everything online. They don't have a step-by-step program. And they just see these bar chords and they think that's how you learn guitar without realizing that you can learn all these other chords that are going to allow you to play thousands of songs.
Yep.
So that's why, I see myself important as a teacher because I help people stay on the path that actually leads to success rather than having them try to do these hard things before they can do it, right? So that's the main thing, And then, like I said, after a couple of months, that's when I really try to help people with the bar chords. There's things you can do, like making your guitar easier to play. That's something most people don't think about. You can put on strings that are thinner strings, so you don't need as much pressure. You can put on this thing called a capo, which lowers the strings even more, so you don't need to press down as hard. There's things you can do, but again, I want you to have fun playing simple songs before we get into the more difficult things. It's like if I would try to start singing opera songs now, if I can't even sing, the most basic stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I would need you to tell me, just stop, be patient.
Yeah.
You'll get there,
Yeah.
but you have to walk before you can run.
Oh, I love that. I was taking notes while you were talking. Because
Luckily, it's recorded.
yeah, but I wanted to dive deeper into a thing that you mentioned, and so that I wouldn't forget, I wrote it all down. The capo or capo, I don't know how
Yeah.
to pronounce it in English.
The capo, yeah.
I know one of the aim of our singers is to find a key that fits their
Right.
voices. So for the
Exactly.
people listening and they don't know what we're talking about, I can sing a song Happy birthday to you in this key, or I can take it a little bit up higher. Happy birthday to you. And one key might not fit all voices. And it's not because Sam Smith or Adele sings her or his song in one key that we have to be singing it in the same key. And so I know having a tool like a guitar can help figure out what the ideal key is for someone to sing a song in. So walk me through that process. Like, is that something that is also for beginners that they can use with a capo, or like, what's your process there?
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, it depends on the complexity of the song. If
Mm-hmm.
it's a simple four chord song, if we just go to our basic four chord song example, then you can absolutely do that. So basically, to raise the pitch, you just have to put the capo on the neck of the guitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's as simple as that. You're still playing the same exact shapes with your fingers. So you train your fingers to do these shapes that we call chords, right? And if you can play that chord progression, if you can play those shapes lower on the guitar, but you need a higher pitch to fit your voice so that you're in the right key, as you were saying, you simply need to put the capo on the guitar and see, okay, does this match my range? If it doesn't, you can go higher. If it doesn't, you can still go higher, right? So that's the beauty of the capo and why it works so well for singers.
Uh-huh.
Now we could go deeper into using a capo. There's all kinds of other things you can do, but just to keep things at the, again, that simple walking before you can run level, using a capo is very, very helpful for singers, definitely. So
Yes.
I would definitely recommend if you sing and you want to start playing guitar, buy a capo. It's $20, 20 euros. It's not expensive, and they're good. They'll last you a lifetime if you don't, if you don't
Mm-hmm.
go on tour with them and bang them up.
So you were talking about chords and shapes, and I that
Hmm.
reminds me of, I don't know if you saw the Friends episode where Phoebe teaches guitar. I think it was to Joey,
Yeah,
and then she's
yeah, I
talking
love
about the
Friends.
different shapes.
Yeah,
So I know one of the main question is that I get from singers all the time, and that I'm sure you might get as well, is do I need to be able to read music in order to play the guitar or in order to sing?
absolutely not. And that's the beautiful thing about it, right? I'm not saying that it's bad to read music, but again, it's that thing, if you're teaching a child, they learn to speak before they learn to read and write, right?
Yes.
So you can pick up the guitar and play chords, and you're going to be able to do mostly everything you need to do, right? Especially if you're singing, because as the vocalist, you're playing the melodies, right? Reading music is very useful for understanding the melody line and all that, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
really beautiful thing about guitar is that you can just pick it up, learn some chords, and you're off to the races. I mean, it's people can play within a month simple stuff and accompany themselves. I've seen it many, many times
I
without knowing how to read music, which is very interesting and fun. And guitar is very unique in that way.
I love your analogy that you shared. A child can learn to speak and talk
Yeah,
without
right.
reading first. That is so true.
Exactly. And we all do. We all
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
We all do.
I'm
And then
going
it's one of those things later on, if you feel like you need it because you're in some kind of a band situation or you want to play with the orchestra or you want to learn the piano, then you can still learn that stuff. Like
to.
kids, like I said, that analogy. But to get started and to have fun, and especially if you already know how to sing, like you're going to be picking up the guitar very, very quickly. Again, if the songs aren't too complicated, we can get into complexity, of course. But there's plenty of fun pop songs that you can play around the campfire and
Hmm.
have a ton of fun within a very short amount of time. Truly within a very short amount of time.
Hmm. That's amazing. That opens
Yeah, I
up the
love it.
conversation, obviously, around talent. I'm curious to hear your thoughts because I hear it all the time. I don't have the
Yeah,
talent to sing. This is not
yeah,
for me. I do love to sing, but I don't have the talent. Like, what
yeah.
about guitar? Do you need talent to be able to learn it?
Um, I would say there are talent levels. If I'm being perfectly honest, there are talent levels, but I
Hmm.
still have only had one student in my life who couldn't do it, who physically couldn't do it. And I've taught thousands of hours one-on-one. So during that time, I did literally thousands of hours. So you can definitely do this. You can definitely do this. If you're able to pick up singing, right? then you're going to be able to pick up the guitar, and especially the simple stuff, right? The simple stuff to be able to just accompany yourself. I'd say 99% of people can do it. I don't know. What has your experience been?
Oh, with singing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's for singing. I always say that you never need talent. You need to have the passion and the interest.
Passion, the interest, the will.
Yes, if you have that, then obviously there's also people that are tone deaf. We need to talk about them. And many people tell
Mm-hmm.
me they're tone deaf, but they're not. It's just that they cannot hold the pitch. Being
Yeah.
tone deaf, I think it's about 4% or 3% of the population, is that you cannot hear the difference between two notes. So if I'm singing and I'm singing someone who's tone deaf might not hear that one is higher
Right.
or lower than the
Interesting.
other.
Interesting.
So if you can hear the difference, that means you're not tone deaf, which means that you
Right.
can learn to sing. But oftentimes people say, I'm tone deaf, and what they mean is, I cannot hit the right pitch. And that's just a
Right.
matter of training that internal hearing so that you know where the music
Yeah.
is going, and having the right techniques to be able to make those vocal cords vibrate and produce the right pitch. So it's a combination of
Right.
those two. Now, someone who's tone deaf will never show any interest in singing or music because they don't experience it in
Right.
the same way.
Interesting. Wow, that's
So,
very interesting.
in that way, I'm pretty confident when I say that if you're
Right.
passionate and you love to sing, there's a good chance you're not
Wow.
tone deaf and you can learn it.
That's powerful. That's powerful. Yeah. So like if you have that seed of interest, there's something within you telling you like you can do this. And again, I've only had one person, and I'm not sure, yeah, what was going on there. But other than that, every single person that I've ever sat with, or even online people, nobody's ever told me, hey, I couldn't do this.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. If you have the passion within you and the desire, then there's something within you telling you, you can do this, right? And I
Yes.
truly believe that. You're not going to maybe be, a Mozart. Like I'm also not a profound musician, right? But I found my voice on the instrument. I'm able to do what I can do and what I love doing. And I feel like
Exactly.
that's the real magic,
Yes.
um,
You know what?
discovering who you are musically.
Yes. I even worked with a group of people, a choir, that did not even had actual vocal cords. They had to have
Wow.
their voice box removed, and they had something in place, and then they had to like press a little button. It wasn't a button, but like something in here, and they kind of talk like Louis Armstrong. I see trees of
Right.
green.
Yeah,
They would
yeah.
talk like
And it
that.
still works.
Yes, even they can change pitches and
Wow.
make melodies and sing. So even if
That's
you don't have
fascinating.
actual vocal cords,
That's fascinating. Yeah, and it has its own kind of sound, right? It has its own
yes,
vibe.
yes.
I love
So
it.
to
I
guide
love
it
it.
back to guitar, I'm wondering if that one person that couldn't do it, I can imagine if you like don't have any fingers to make it a big exaggerated, then it would be hard to play guitar, right?
Yeah.
Physically, you're not able to.
Right, 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 right.
So I don't know if there was maybe an issue there, like,
Not really. I think back to this individual every once in a while, and I wonder, like, what was it? I'm not sure. Maybe there actually was something going on, but I didn't realize it. Honestly, I really don't understand what the issue was. He wasn't able to apply enough pressure somehow. So maybe there actually was some sort of issue. Yeah, but that being said, everybody else, I wanted to give you a realistic answer and
yeah, of
not just
course,
like
of course.
totally, but other than that, every single person I've encountered live has been able to do it. Now, I've taught thousands and thousands of people online, so I can't tell you honestly, like nobody's been able to do it.
Yeah,
But I have tons of positive reviews, hundreds of students in my community, and they're all raving fans and really,
that's
really,
amazing. That's
have learned a
amazing.
lot and have been able to do it.
Yeah.
And they post videos of themselves. There's a community. They chat with each other. So yeah, I'd say 99% of people can do it. And if you have that calling within you, I'd say go for it.
Yes.
There's nothing to lose. Go for it. Give it a couple of weeks. You do have to put in some time, like you were saying. It's not, like totally effortless. You do need to put in some time. But that being said, within a month, just a month, you can really accomplish a lot. You really can. those main chords that you need to learn, you're going to be able to play. You might not strum perfectly, but again, to sing, just one down strum is enough to give you that chord, right? Then you
Yeah.
can sing. Then you can go to the next chord. One strum, right?
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of you singers, you know.
So let me ask about that because I know that is something that we work with all the time in our Singing Insiders community, and it's that practice and creating
Hmm.
your efficient practice session. And I
Yeah,
teach it in different ways, and depending on
yeah.
how long you have, if it's half an hour or 15 minutes, you can practice in a different style. So, how do you or how much do you suggest someone should be practicing to get results? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Great question. Great question. And I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts on this too. It's
Uh-huh,
interesting
sure.
talking teacher to teacher. So it would be great daily. Daily practice would be great. You know,
Yeah.
I understand people have jobs and responsibilities and you can't always get to it.
Hmm.
But that would be great, even if it's just 20 minutes a day. You know, with 10, 20 minutes a day, you can already really get somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I tell people is I use like the sandwich technique analogy, right? So start with something that's easy, that's familiar, that you already feel comfortable with, right? To warm up, to get the blood flowing so that you feel good about yourself, right?
Yeah.
Then in the middle of your session, stretch yourself a little bit. You know, it can get a little bit difficult. You can work on something new, right? Stretch yourself, actually do the sweaty practice work, right?
Like
And
that.
then end your session with something that's easy again, so
Yeah.
that when you put down your instrument, you feel good again, right? It's not that
Yes.
stretching, right? So it's even like when you work out, you warm up first, you do the stuff, and then you cool down, right? So
Hmm.
that's normally what I tell people. And then the last thing, I almost forgot this, is you need to have a step-by-step structure to follow. You know,
Hmm.
I see so many people getting lost on YouTube. Again, they can't play the basic chords, and then they try to learn the F chord, the bar chord that you were talking about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you don't have that step-by-step, A to B to C to D, it's very, very easy to just get lost and, you know, fall off the trail and become one of those 90%, you know, percentages that ends up quitting within the first year.
That
Yeah,
would
yeah,
be me. That
exactly.
would be me.
We're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that.
I would love to.
You can absolutely do it. We have to do like a test.
We should. We should.
Yeah, because
I'm
you can
totally
definitely
open for
do it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What do you tell people?
I love your sandwich technique and it resonates with what I'm telling them. So for me, a practice session, how long it is, doesn't, well, it does matter. But let me first go over the elements. So we have four main elements. The first one, obviously, being the warm up, warming up your voice. Then I tell them to focus on one of our pillars of the Sing Yourself to Freedom formula. And the one that is most often chosen is the vocal technique pillar. So then you're working on a specific technique. For example, singing
Nice.
the high notes or singing with belt or a specific technique. And we have vocal workouts to help them with that so that they can just press play, sing along, train that technique. And then the third phase is repertoire. So now that you've put into practice the technique, can we put that into a song so that we're actually doing some singing? And then the
Nice.
fourth
Nice.
element is the vocal cool down, which is what you talked about too, where we're stretching the vocal cords back down so that we don't have any hoarseness coming up. And depending on how long you have, so if you have 15 minutes, you could say, I'm going to warm up for 2, vocal cool down for 3, and then 5 minutes for the other elements. Or if you have an hour, well, you can make that bigger. Or you can
Right, you can
have the,
stretch it out.
yes.
I
And
love it.
then
I
going
love
back
it.
to like the daily, I agree that ideally,
Daily would be
if you
best.
can do it daily, that would be amazing. What I encourage my singers that I work with to do is to commit to some kind of consistent practice that they can
Hmm.
commit to. So I prefer that they commit to practicing once a week and actually follow through on that than committing to once a day and then maybe missing 3 days because then
Right,
we're not
right, right.
feeling good, like you said. We need to
Wow,
feel
that's
good.
interesting. I have to think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's good. That's good. Commitment.
And depending on what your commitment is, whether that's once a day, once a week, once every 2 days, well, your progress growth will go like faster or slower. But that's the commitment that you're making. When you are telling yourself, I'm going to practice once a month, then you know that you're choosing for slower progress than if you commit to sing
Right.
once a week, for example. or once a day. So,
Very interesting. I like that. I might steal that.
oh, steal it. Please do. Please do.
I'll make some kind of a hybrid. It's good. I like it. That's why I love talking to you. That's why I said, like, I need to talk to Maggie. The first time I heard you, I was like, I need to talk to Maggie.
Ah, I'm so happy we're having this conversation.
Yeah. Wow, that's really great. That's a really great way of looking at it. Commitment. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna take that one.
I noticed that for the singers that I work with, it helps them to actually feel fulfilled about their practice because they do what they say they were going to do without
Right.
overstretching themselves. And if they
Right,
commit
right,
to it
right.
once a week, but then they practice twice in a week, well, that's a win. And all the wins are welcome because obviously, you know that our brain is
For sure.
wired to not show us the progress. And so by
Right.
realizing those wins, we're seeing our progress, we're getting motivated to keep going. And that's the whole philosophy
Yeah, I
behind
love it. I love it. That's really great. That's really,
it. Yeah.
really great. Thank
So,
you. Thank you
of
for that.
course, no, thank you for sharing your progress. I have one more question that came up
Hmm.
when I was talking to you. This whole idea of singing and playing simultaneously. I know that some singers that do play guitar in our community, they first either learn the singing part or they first learn either the guitar part or they do it directly together. Like, what are your
Hmm.
thoughts on that? What's the best way to go about it?
So honestly, I'm not a singer, but when I was 16 and we were at the bonfire and we had two or three beers, then I was singing all the time, right? So the way that I would do it and the way that I would learn songs is I would do it all at once because I found that you pick up the right strumming pattern when you try to sing. It's like they have to work together,
Yeah.
and if you just try it long enough, it just kind of happens.
Hmm.
So for me, it was a very organic thing, and that's what I teach people. Um, that's the best answer I can give you, again,
Yeah.
as a non-singer.
I appreciate that because I have the same when I do my ukulele stuff. I do
Yeah,
it simultaneously because
yeah, yeah.
it has to fit
That's
together.
how it worked for me. But I remember being a beginner and not knowing, like, how am I going to do this?
Mm,
And then one day it just kind of clicked. It just kind of clicked, and I realized, okay, if I want to sing this, I'm going to have to strum in a way that works to be able to sing this, right?
mm, hmm.
That being said, inside of my courses, I do have like structured strumming patterns that I give people in advance.
Nice.
So that will definitely work for you. But you can also simplify the strumming patterns. Again, just do one strum and sing, right? Since you're the melody, one strum is enough.
Hmm.
And then once you have that down, you can add in a second strum, right? I tell people just start really slowly, start
Yeah.
slowly, be patient, but know at the same time that everything is gonna come together if you don't quit, right?
Right.
So just start slow, and you'll see automatically these things just start to fall into place
Hmm.
because you want to play the song, you want to sing the song, you're feeling it, you love it. It's very exciting to hear the
Yeah.
chords all of a sudden, because you've heard the song so many times, you love the song, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's coming out of your instrument. You're the one producing it. It's extremely satisfying, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I really want everybody to experience that feeling of just
So
picking up a song that they love.
yes, let's dive into that
I'm
because
getting
I know
chills. I'm honestly getting chills.
you have something that's coming up. How can people get
Yeah, yeah, I do.
started
Yeah.
and work with you if they would be interested in that?
Yeah, I have a free 5-day boot camp challenge, is what I call it.
Okay.
And it's a free 5-day live training, right? So I'm going to be teaching my best tips and tricks. And people are gonna be getting my picture chord book. They're gonna be getting that free course that I told you about.
Mm-hmm.
So even if people have never played the guitar, this is still gonna be something for them. I talk about mindset. So all of the resources are there, especially if you're totally a beginner, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you're more advanced, it's also for you. But people who have never played before can absolutely also come to this free 5-day live event. I'm going to be teaching 5 days in a row.
Nice.
Live Q&A, giveaways. It's
Yeah.
going to be a whole thing. Community. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited.
That's amazing. So I should join if I want to learn to overcome my fear
Yes.
of the bar chords.
Come, come for sure. Come for sure. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
I
It's
will.
gonna be great. Yeah, this is the second one that I've done, and the first one was a total hit. I have members inside of my community that even now, I did my first one 6 months ago, keep telling me how much they loved it, right?
That's
How much they
amazing.
learned from it.
Hmm.
So, because the thing is, when you plug into a community and everybody's doing the same thing, there's this energy. You get this momentum, right?
Yeah.
It's 5 days in a row, it's live, people are
Hmm.
commenting, people are posting videos. It's very interactive, right?
Yeah.
It's the next best thing to a live event. It really
Yeah.
is. And there's going to be replays. People ask, is there going to be a replay? There's absolutely replays. You can always catch up. Yeah, and it's just a great transformational, fun event. And again, people, if they want to come, also get my free beginner course. They get my free picture chord book where they can learn those beginner chords.
Yeah.
That's all included.
Nice. You're so
Come
generous.
on down.
So is there a link that I can share with our people listening
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So I think you're going to probably have a link in
in the
the show
description?
notes or
Yeah.
something,
I'll
right?
put it into the
That's
description down
probably the
below.
best way to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Before
I
we,
hope you come. I hope you come. I'm going to have a whole day talking about bar chords. So day
oh my
2 is
God.
just about bar chords. Yeah, it's just about bar chords.
Okay, I want to say I'll commit to it. I'll commit to either show up live or see the replay because I do want
Cool.
to learn about it. But because I don't know the
Yeah.
timings, I don't want to.
And I can't wait to see you finally playing those bar chords and
I
also
know.
playing the guitar and singing at the same time.
Yes, getting away from the ukulele, which
Yeah.
is gonna
Yeah.
be a
I
fun
mean, you can
step.
play the piano, so for you, you already
Yeah.
have that advantage, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But guitar is cool. You can take it to the beach, you can take it to the bonfires. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the best times of my life have been at a bonfire with my acoustic guitar and a bunch of friends just singing songs. You know, it's a
That's
very
amazing.
rewarding thing.
That's amazing.
So yeah,
So Henry,
come on down.
before we wrap up this conversation, is there anything else that you feel like we haven't touched on during this conversation that you wanna, have our singers that are listening to this podcast hear right now? Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I think we really covered everything. The main takeaway is I want people to know you can absolutely learn how to play the guitar. If you already love singing, guitar, for just a couple $100, I know it's for some people it's a lot, right? But for a lot of people it's very affordable, right? A couple $100, you can get a simple beginner guitar and you're off to the races,
Can
right?
I add something to that? You can
Yeah.
even rent guitars in some spaces.
Wow, I didn't
So
know that. I didn't know that.
that
So
could be
rent a
helpful.
guitar for a month. If you don't want to put down the money, rent it for a month. Again, my live event is starting on the 23rd, but there's already a group that's open right away. So if people want to join that group now through your link, they can get all signed up. I will email you the free course so you can get started. You can get to the, event, rolling, already playing some chords, and then just continue that momentum when you get to the boot camp.
That's amazing. Henry, thank you so much for today. I really appreciate how
Thank you.
generous that
Thank
you
you.
are. So thank you so much for having been here.
It's been great chatting with you, Maggie. Thank you so much. Thank you to the listener listening to this for listening to us. We're both very passionate about music. You're in great hands with Maggie. She's amazing. So thank you all so much. Thank you.